All right. Thank you guys for tuning in yet to another podcast interview. Now, I know we have not been consistent, and I know that we have been super, super busy. Holidays coming up, a lot of things coming up, but that is okay. We still try to fit in what we can to get messages of great businesses out here. So, with that being said, I do want to do a special shout out to a few people and for a few things, making a few announcements for y'all. So, today is Halloween. We do have our double feature event. It will be on Facebook from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, and then on TikTok from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we will do Q&A sessions for today with me and for another amazing actress and music artist. And so there might be other actors you can do a Q&A session with, but you never know. You'll have to stay tuned to see who's there. So make sure you join that event. The event is free on TikTok and on Facebook. Now, moving right along to another great business is Big Swindle Gang. We want to send a special shout out to that business. Go on Instagram and follow Big Swindle Gang, and make sure you tell him that Nita K Productions sent you. Another special shout out to Charissa O'Connor and Aaron Yates. They have their event today for Halloween called Cornered. If it's not too late, make sure you grab your tickets. If you need more information, hit us in the DMs on Instagram or on Facebook at Nita K Productions. Let's get into it. So this afternoon, we do have a returning guest. I know we were having some technical issues with the interview, but we took it down, but it's okay. We're doing a redo. And he just came back from out of country. So he has some added details with our interview today here. So I'm going to do a special introduction. This amazing book author has such an amazing story that not only ties to children, but it ties to adults. When we had this conversation last time we spoke, it was an amazing story, and we just had to put it on our podcast for others to hear. Now, don't forget, this podcast interview will not only be on Spotify, it'll be on iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, and Apple Podcasts. This is a SAG-AFTRA signatory podcast as well, so don't forget it. If you like your podcast interview just like this one, hit us up on Instagram, Anita K Productions. So, Derek, how are you doing today?
Hello. I'm doing great. How are you? Happy Halloween.
Yes, happy Halloween. Speaking of Halloween, are you dressed for the occasion?
I'm dressed, but not for the occasion. No, definitely not.
That is so funny. So, look, everybody, I'm going to just stop doing a lot of talking. I'm going to let Derek introduce himself, and then we're going to dive into doing the interview questions with him. So go ahead, Derek. Tell everybody about yourself, what you've been up to, what you've done, what you're going to do. Just let everybody know what you got going on.
All right. Thank you, Nita. Well, first, my name is Derek Amarias. I create tools that help kids and grown-ups understand their feelings, feel better, and move forward with kindness. I would like to say that my work lives somewhere between where stories meet feelings and where characters like Sako, a character that I wrote in my recent book, help us name what matters. And I think that's just important.
Absolutely. Can you tell everybody, let's start here before we even dive into the details of this and how you got started. Tell everybody, where can they find or purchase your book?
My book is available where all books are sold, primarily on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, all where books are sold.
Okay. So y'all heard Derek, you heard it straight from him. All where books are sold, you can get this amazing book. Now, can you tell everybody, your background, how you got started, what became of you becoming a book author?
Sure. So I started actually my career in finance. I was the leader for a large company, and I led departments. And primarily my goal, once I became a leader, when you transition from an individual contributor to a leader, there's a lot of coaching of other crew involved. And I did a lot of coaching to emotional intelligence. That being said, as a child, I loved to write. I always wrote stories, and my mother always encouraged me to become an author. But, writing stories is one thing, and, making money and living life is another thing.
Right.
So I pursued a professional career in finance. I was lucky enough to retire 2 years ago, or a couple years ago, almost 3 now. And so as a promise to my husband, I said, okay, I'm going to kind of reclaim my passion for writing. And so I started revisiting a bunch of old stories that I had written. And every time my mother comes over, now that I'm published, she's like, oh, do you remember you wrote this? She comes over with boxes. It's kind of funny and cool to see. But I was like, oh, I don't remember that one. Oh, yeah, I remember this one. So just kind of revisiting old memories and stories. What got me started writing was this particular story. Started out as a gift from my mother-in-law, who loves flamingos. And my husband loves statement footwear. So I connected the dots, and I said, I'm going to write a story about a flamingo who wears tennis shoes as a gift from my mother-in-law. Wow. And it sounded cute. But then again, back to what I did professionally, coaching to emotional intelligence, the story just came out. I felt like it needed to be said, not only for me, but for other kids. Sako's story isn't just about a flamingo in tennis shoes. It's about bravery, individuality, and chasing dreams. And I think that reflects a lot of who I am as a person. Growing up, I was the one, who was either too loud for the room or too soft for the room. And, and I think it kind of leads into another story. Hopefully we can talk about it later, but
yeah,
this story gives permission to remain radiant, right? My character, Sako, doesn't start out broken. He starts out whole, already bold, already dancing. Yeah. And as I mentioned, it gives permission to remain radiant. Even when I think there's a lot of pressure right now for kids to tone it down. Yeah. And I think Sako's shoes say, hey, I know who I am and I'm not shrinking. That's the message I got and needed when I was a kid. And I think a lot of other children need that same message too.
Absolutely. And shoot, not only just children, some adults need that same message as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. I know that I'm going to eventually have to invest and get a copy of the book so that I can do some content and just read it aloud myself so that I can understand Sako. Because when I saw the picture that I saw that Clarissa sent over, Sako is vibrant. Like he's radiant, and he's just vibrant. Like the colors are bold. Sako's bold. Like even the background, the illustration is great. Now, could you tell everybody who is did you do the illustration for the book?
No, I did not. The illustrator was provided by my publisher. Her name's Kyla Victor, and she's really talented. I'm happy to be worked with her. She's amazing. And so she was able to bring my vision to life, which was part of the process. And, with children, especially children's literature, having a picture be on target is kind of part of the process because, people will see, their kids will see the picture before they even read the words and try to translate what it is or what's going on. So I was very excited to get quality, and the professionalism that she offered was just tremendous. So she was awesome.
Yes. Now tell everybody, how long did it take you to write the book? How long did it take you to get everything together?
I want to say it was about 2 years process writing to actual publication. It took a while. And it was a big learning experience as well. I figured, hey, I wrote a book, let's get it published. I'm done, right? No, there's so much more to that. Reviewing the illustrations, making sure that, the words flowed on the page correctly. So for page breaks and everything, it was quite the process, and it was very eye-opening.
Yeah, I mean, has it been, and I'm sure of this, tell everybody you got to do the good and the bad. Like, have you had some trying situations or frustrating situations during your process? Like, did you have moments where you felt like you wanted to give up? Or did you have moments where you just like, no, I'm not going to give up. I'm just going to keep going. No matter how hard it gets, I'm just going to keep pushing.
Absolutely. So frustration in the process, I'm sure everybody experiences, no matter what you're doing or what you're trying to get done. Like throwing a party, somebody cancels, you think everything's going to go crazy.
Right.
So there were times where, yes, I was frustrated with delays, but giving up was never an option. I don't think giving up or quitting is in my vocabulary. Pausing and maybe pivoting, yes, but never to quit and just give up. So yes, there were some times during the process where it was, when is it going to get done? How am I going to get through this? But you pivot, things work out, and it ended up being great. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, with the frustration and then on top of that you pushing through that and succeeding, I'm sure it's been an amazing experience at the end of the tunnel. Now, have you had book signings, and if you have, where have they been located, and do you plan to do more book signings?
I do plan to do more book signings. My team's currently reviewing, where the books are selling, for me to go out there and sign books.
Right.
I did a book signing here in Dallas.
Okay.
At a Barnes and Noble, and then I did one at a Brave and Kind bookstore in Atlanta just a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, things are moving quite along.
Now, how was that experience? Since that's just recent, how was that experience with your book signing?
The experience is really terrific to see the kids engaged. And to my last book signing, I did something a little different. I asked questions at the end just to kind of make sure they were paying attention.
Right.
And the response that I got were fantastic, And one of the questions I asked was, how similar or dissimilar are you to Sako?
Right.
And, having the kids raise their hand and answer, it was really a moment. And I really, really liked that. In addition to the book signings, I've also been doing readings in schools. I did a reading in Atlanta, and I did 3 first grade classes and 2 kindergarten classes, and just their engagement just made it feel totally worth it. I loved it.
I know that was a great experience. Like you're doing. I mean, this could expand, and it's starting to expand really fast for you, because I think I've seen that you posted that. I think you had some pictures posted on Instagram with you doing the readings to the children. I mean, that's amazing. And you're doing it in the schools now. Now, are you planning to do like Chicago at some point? Because we would love for you to come to Chicago at an event, possibly in the future, to do a book signing as well.
I'd love to come to Chicago. Maybe we could do kind of a literacy push together. Yeah, I'd love that. Something like that would just be great.
Yes, it would. Yes, it would. And then we'll be able to meet face to face, and I'm sure Clarissa will love that as well. Now, let's get into you being out of the country. What did you go out of the country for? We're getting a little nosy here.
That's okay.
How was that experience? Where did you go? Like, how was your trip?
It was really amazing. I did a Mediterranean cruise, and then I did 2 back-to-back. So I did a 12-night cruise to Greece and Italy, and then I stayed 4 days in Rome, and then I did a 7-night cruise to France and Spain, back-to-back. So I was gone for a month. Yeah. And it was a planned vacation. So, but it was the 3rd time trying to attempt this cruise. The first time we attempted it, it got canceled due to the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then the second time, we made it as far as the airport, and then my mother slipped and fell and broke her wrist, and we had to immediately come home. So it was like 3rd time's the charm. So, or 3 strikes and you're out. I don't know how you look at it, but it's always 3rd time's the charm for me, because I'm very positive. So
right.
We made it to Greece, and it's beautiful. If you've never been to Europe, definitely something to see. Some of my takeaways were very emotional, which, I kind of wrote some poems about, my time there, and a couple lyrics for some songs. But my biggest takeaway was being there, and this is as early as 1960, right? I'm standing in this town and I'm looking at the fountains, and I noticed that very ornate, but everything on the fountain, one thing's different. And when I asked about it, they said, oh, it's because we were occupied here, or it's because we were ruled during this time here. Even the signs being from English to Greek, and some in Turkish. I was just like, well, that's kind of confusing. Why is that? Oh, well, because the British recently pulled out in 1960. And I'm just like, oh, so their resilience kind of shows through in their culture. And, just thinking back to being a US citizen, we've never had to deal with occupation. We've never had to deal with takeovers, so
right.
I felt really lucky and blessed, given where I come from, but it was just very eye-opening, and I appreciated the culture and the resilience in everybody's community.
Absolutely.
So what I also did to make it fun is every place I stopped, I dropped a book, with a note written in their language saying, Saco is here, this is a gift for you, pick it up and read it, to kind of have the resonate internationally as well. So I hope people find the books, because they were kind of hidden pretty well.
Yeah, and that's a great idea that you did that. That's another way to connect with people out of the country as well, or just connect with other people, period, in regards to what you do.
Exactly. So hopefully we get some traction on some of those video posts that should be posting on Instagram. And tag it, if you find a book at Saco the Flamingo.
Yeah, that, what, we would love to see that. We cannot wait to you do some content in regards to that. And I'm sure you got some amazing pictures. You were gone for a month, and I was asking Clarissa, I was like, where's Derek? I need to talk to Derek again, because I know our last podcast had a little issue, but I was like, he's out of the country. I was like, oh my God, we'll tell him safe travels, because you were gone for a while, and I almost thought, it was like, oh, I started to get a little sad, like, oh, well, maybe he forgot about us. But there was
no.
About us. He didn't forget about us. Clarissa was like telling me how excited you were to be back. And I was just glad that you came back and we did this interview. Now,
thank you so much. I have to tell you that your interview, the last one we did, had to be one of my best, I thought, and I was a little sad that, technical issues that we had, but I'm glad to be here and doing it again.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I do want to ask you this. I heard you say you wrote some lyrics to a song. Do you sing, Derek?
I've sang in the past, karaoke in the shower. I was in a choir growing up as a kid. I've never sang professionally, though.
Okay, but
I can carry a note. I can carry a tune.
Okay. Now, are there other? Are there other industry professions that you might have dived into in the past or recently, besides being a book author?
Well, recently, when the book got published, and I've been reading with librarians, they asked for classroom kits as well as music. And so I was like, oh, music. Oh, that's true, right? Children's environment music's very important, not only to carry a message, but to reflect in as well. But so I co-wrote and co-produced some songs that hopefully be coming out, within the next couple months to kind of accompany the book. And I also finalized a version of a classroom kit to be used in schools as well.
Yes, I remember you were talking about that, because I was asking you last time. I was asking about, were you planning on doing like T-shirts, like merch, like paraphernalia, stuff like that? Were you planning to expand? And you're already making class kits.
Yeah, classroom kits, affirmation decks, mostly tools to be used in schools. I am in the process of creating a plush toy for kids to kind of hold while they're reading the book, or even just to have. Merch is a process, though, right? So I'm sure you're familiar with it. I'm not, and so I'm learning as I'm going. But so I kind of feel like I'm wearing all these different hats. But the lucky thing is that I'm not doing it alone, and being able to kind of understand my emotions and my feelings I'm not afraid to ask for help too. So,
Mhm.
and I'm asking for it. So I'm getting a lot of help, during the process as well. So it's really amazing.
Yes, it is. And I don't think I've ever asked you this next question because we're going to shine some light a little bit on Clarissa because Clarissa has been amazing. She's been sending you over, sending other clients over, and it's just been amazing. And it's been helping our podcast as well. Can you tell everyone, how did you come by a way of Clarissa? How did you run into her? How did you connect and network with Clarissa?
So my mentor, who is a singer songwriter, her name's Candy Shields, recommended Clarissa to me, and so as well as some other people as well. But when I met with Clarissa, one of my asks was, hey, business is business, but I need somebody who can talk to me like family, right? Because family is just very important to me. And she was able to kind of meet me there where I needed to be met. And so she treats me like family, sometimes as a mother, sometimes as a sister, sometimes as, as a mean aunt. But she's amazing, and I have a very strong team behind me, thanks to Clarissa, and thanks to my mentor, of course, for recommended her to me. So I'm very fortunate to have met and be a part of her team.
Absolutely, and let's do some cheering we definitely do appreciate you being on here and telling everyone about your journey, about your goals, about your ups, your downs, your ins, your outs, and just being real transparent with us. Now, with that being said, is there anything that you would, any advice that you would suggest to people who are wanting to be a book author or wanting to aspire to be a book author, or even just learn how to even write a book or even get into something, like even with being in schools and anything that you have put your hands on? What advice would you give another creative?
I would say, as a creative, you have all these different thoughts, right? And I'm pulled in many different directions. And that's actually why I never published earlier, because, not that I wasn't good enough, but I just kind of felt like I'm not doing it right, because my mind doesn't work that way. And it's okay. It's one of my quirks, and I'm celebrating that. But one thing, as far as a suggestion would go, and this is advice that I got from my mentor, was when you have a thought or an idea, write it down, right? Let it take the shape that it needs to take. So whether it's poetry, a lyric, a thought, a story, write it down and then revisit it and let it take its form, right? Whatever form it takes, it's going to take. Absolutely. So, I wrote children's books. I've written other stuff. I've written poems. I've written some adult-facing content as well. But I started with this book because it was meant as a gift. And I figured, okay, well, if I'm going to share it, I'm going to share something that was already designed to be shared. Right. So that would be my advice for my other creatives. Just, don't force it, because if you force it, it takes a long time. And another thing that I've learned is, everybody has that little perfectionist in them, right? It's not perfect yet. It's not perfect yet. Well, that perfectionist mentality, it'll never get done. It'll never be done. And so kind of myself, realization, that realization I had was, does it have to be perfect? It just has to be good enough, and, I can always refine it, later if I choose to, or, re-release, right? That's another option too. So it doesn't have to be perfect, right? In my eyes, it just has to be good enough. And when I shared the story, the way it resonated with the kids and the adults that I shared it with, they loved it. And so I figured, okay, then this is the story I'm going to lead with. Absolutely. So that would be my advice.
Yes. So you creatives out there that are in tune or in the process of becoming a book author, you heard it from Derek. You gave the best advice. I've heard that as well a lot. Like, any idea, thought you have, write it down. Also, too, don't share your ideas and thoughts with everyone either. I've heard that as well. Some things you do have to keep secret, not because, hey, you're the first person to ever do it and you don't want nobody else to do it. It might be that. But it also might be, you don't want somebody to steal your idea. You want to get it under wraps first. Get it trademarked or copywritten or something of that
Yeah.
sort, so that if someone does try to steal your exact idea, you'll be able to fight against that. So that's another piece of advice that I've been told, is to hold it
And
down. Like,
yeah, and that's great advice. You have to protect your
yeah,
intellectual property. And that's
yeah.
something, it's part of my process. After I create something, I copyright it, and
Mhm.
then I come back and rework it. But the ideas are the same. I may change a character name here or there, but that is true. And it's very important.
Yeah, yes, it is. Now, you are based in Dallas, correct?
Correct. Well, I'm
Okay.
in the burbs, but I'm in the
Okay.
DFW Metroplex.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. You're not too far from the airport then.
Correct. No, not at all. Like it's like a
Okay.
10-minute drive.
Okay. Now, have you been to Chicago before?
I've never been to Chicago. And it's
Oh,
funny because I watch movies and I'm like, oh, where's the city? Is it a set? It's beautiful, with the lakes and I hear y'all have hotels or buildings that you don't ever have to leave. You can get a haircut and do grocery shopping
yeah.
all in one building. I think
Yeah.
that's awesome. But you also get a lot of snow.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah. No,
yeah,
wintertime is not the best time to come here.
yeah. But no, I've never been, but it's a beautiful city.
Yes, in certain parts, the downtown areas, yes, it's beautiful everywhere. But yes, I'm just shocked. I think we talked about this before too, that you've never been to Chicago.
Yeah, I've never been, but I want to go.
Yeah, look. We're gonna have to talk to Clarissa to try to get you out here.
Done and done.
Yeah, I know, right? Now I know that Thanksgiving is approaching. Are you planning to do anything for the holiday?
I'm spending Thanksgiving with my family in San Antonio, Texas. My mother's going to be cooking a meal, and so it's family time at Thanksgiving.
Absolutely. And then I do want to kind of touch on this. How do you feel, and this is just off the record, how do you feel about this government shutdown that's going on right now?
It's unfortunate. I'm hoping it gets resolved, soon. I mean, it's kind of been on longer than I anticipated, but
Mhm.
which make traveling a little bit worrisome because
Yeah.
when I was at the airport coming back from Atlanta last week, um, I asked the TSA guy or one of the guys in the line. I said, "Are you being paid?" And he said, "No, I'm not." He said, "But he's still here doing his job." So I have to commend that. It's
Yeah.
really amazing that people are still showing up. And part of my book is showing up. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, that sucks. It really sucks. Like you said, it's happening way longer than we all anticipated, which is crazy. We would have all thought that they would have made a decision by now. But I'm asking everybody what their views and their take is on what's happening, because it's affecting everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so before I let you go, I do appreciate you stopping by. I have to let everyone listen to you tell them, where can they find you on social media? How can they reach out to you if they wanted to do content, if they wanted to have you do a birthday party, to do book readings for children or whatever? How can they reach you?
Well, they can reach me by reaching out to Synergy PR directly. They're my marketing team. So, if you want me to go somewhere, that's probably the best way to reach me. On socials, at Sacco the Flamingo at all socials. He's got a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and hope to see more content on there shortly. I'm planning a Twirl Tuesday, if you will, where I'll be posting something every Tuesday myself on Instagram. So just coming up with the plan and making sure I can kind of deliver on it.
Yeah. And so we got to follow Sako's Facebook page and Instagram page. I think we're following the Instagram page, but I'm going to double check. That's going to be amazing, because my next question is, I'm just adding on one more question. Are you planning on doing an animation for Sako eventually?
I would love that. That's my end goal. And by creating Sako's universe, I have other books that I finished that were Sako's cameo in them. So it's not necessarily a continuation of Sako's story, but it's where he's cameo in the story. So I'm building a universe around him, again, with all the emotional tools and literacy, again, to help people identify their feelings and state their needs. Because I think emotional literacy, is really important, because, it's just very important, because, when it comes to emotional literacy, I don't know how to describe it. I think kids, especially kids, it's very important to them, because before they learn to read, they're going to learn to read the room, right? And our bodies and facial expressions. And so when you can name what you feel, you can choose how to respond. And I think that's why emotional literacy turns reaction into response and confusion into clarity. So I'm very passionate about, creating tools needed for children.
Absolutely. And it definitely could be, probably more than likely, I'm thinking, added to a lesson plan you're doing school kits and you're in these schools, they probably will add this as a lesson plan to help children, I want to say, filter their emotions and be able to talk about their emotions and how they feel in a respectful way.
And you nailed the nail right in the head. I came from a family where we talked about our feelings, and I understand that, other people don't have that, where they're talking about their feelings. And I feel, and I've seen this in my professional life working with adults, if kids don't learn this now, they're going to spend years unlearning the idea that they're either too much or not enough. And again, that's where I think Sako's message, your feelings are valid, your quirks are beautiful, and your voice matters. And for me, it's not just cute. I think it's foundational.
Absolutely. Now, with Sako's universe, I know you're playing in a universe, so he'll be cameo. So are you going to be bringing in other characters that will represent other emotions?
Yes, you got it. Yep. Yes, okay. Yes, I am. And I'm building the arcs around, emotion. So I have a character who, wants to be brave, and so he idolizes Batman, as a hero, which is great. But he finds out that he's his own hero. I have another character that'll be introduced who, he's a chameleon, and he doesn't know how to blend in, which is okay, right? Similar to Sako, that where in this story he's bullied. Sako's not bullied at all.
Right.
So just emotional universe, and I think it's going to be very impactful.
Yes, it is, because I'm just going from idea to idea. Can't give too much away, but I do appreciate you coming on here today. I do appreciate you giving us this amazing message and this powerful message, not only for children, but for adults as well. It definitely brought light to my eyes. It makes me want to learn more about Sako myself. Is there any last remarks before we close out this podcast interview today, Derek?
I would just say Sako the Flamingo with Tennis Shoes is available on Amazon, as I mentioned, and where all books are sold. But just understand that, hey, your differences don't need to be hidden, because I think when you start hiding who you are, it leads to anxiety, and other mental health issues. Celebrate your quirks, celebrate your uniqueness, and be you. Absolutely. Because being you, being real, is what creates authenticity. And I think people gravitate towards people who they know are real. And so that would be my last takeaway, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. Be true to yourself.
That's right.
All right. And that is all we have for today, guys. Make sure you tune in on Facebook, from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. today. Dress in your Halloween attire because we will be doing a Q&A session live on Facebook. And then from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Central Standard Time, guys, we will be on TikTok. Dress in your Halloween attire as well because we will be doing a Q&A session there. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and YouTube. And don't forget, if you want to have your next podcast right here on Behind the Scenes, make sure you hit us up on all socials. Thank you for tuning in today. Be safe and happy Halloween.
Thank you, Nina K.
Thank you.
Nina K. Bye.
Bye.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.